What is up, Nintendo Land? Welcome to Nintendo Open Air Podcast. We've officially had a week with Nintendo Switch Online. Have you been filled with more games, more features, and more fun than you can handle? Or is it a severe case of buyer's remorse setting in? Tonight we'll be breaking down our own experiences with this so-called flawless system and of course going over all the latest online experiences. So whether you're game over after a 7-day free trial, or if you're in it for the long haul with a 12-month subscription, stay tuned for all the latest and perhaps not so greatest from Nintendo Switch Online. Alright, how have our opinions changed since last week? After we recorded last week, we just experienced it for the first time. Is anyone?
I don't think it's really I don't think it's really changed at all since last week. We've had some time to play online multiple times.
Yeah.
Um, I can say between Jason and myself, we've not had the best connections. We're like playing Dr. Mario. It will be really laggy when you're trying to place pieces, and then all of a sudden there's just like four pieces that are placed at once. But I don't know if that's our internet working together. You and Max have had better results, I think, haven't you?
This
Uh,
was
it's been laggy, and then you get that huge banner across the top saying, there's problems with your connection or whatever.
Yeah, and turn on low
Take up
latency
half the
mode.
screen.
And I've noticed that they're not connected because when we were playing the other night, Max was saying she was getting that screen and I was not. So apparently one side can be laggy and not the other.
Yeah.
Just odd.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really weird. I mean, the way peer to peer works is that one person is the host and the other person is the I don't know, whatever, the guest
Yes.
or whatever. Like even with Splatoon, apparently, like with Splatoon 2, it's peer to peer. So if you're on a four-player team, one of those people, they just choose one of those people's internet to be the host internet for that game, and if they were to crash or something, it would take everybody else out,
Hmm.
Hmm.
which may be the reason why sometimes you're playing and all of a sudden you just crash out of the game. Um,
Well,
yeah, I don't know.
yeah, you'll see that in Splatoon 2, like a team and like one person will go down and then the whole team will go down or you're
Yeah.
left one on one.
Yeah.
Whereas I almost never have any issues in Fortnite. I mean, every now and then there's a hiccup here and there, but that's because it's server based. So everybody's going into the same main server and it's doing all the computing and then it's sending the information back out, which is probably better for 100 people in one game rather than having one person hosting that. Um, but I think my main gripes with the NES stuff, other than the game sucking and being really boring, um, I don't like the on-screen display.
Yeah.
Even the fact that it just has an icon in the upper left-hand corner all the time. I wish you could stretch it to 16 by 9,
Yeah.
even though it'll look awful. And I hate that the bottom, even more than anything, I think I hate the stuff at the bottom where it tells you the minus is select and the plus is start and
Yeah.
whatever the other instructions are at the bottom there. It's like it's not necessary, and yeah, it should just go away.
It really feels like that it's okay for that to be there, but then it should fade away after, 5 seconds or whatever. And it doesn't.
Or have an
Yeah.
option somewhere. I mean, it really is starting to appear to me that it's just not a very polished experience as far as. I mean, I kind of don't even really care for the aesthetic of the screen. Like, they just here's a bunch of nest boxes thrown on there, but whatever, I can figure it out. But it just seems like they didn't do a great job of making it real polished. They're just like, here's the basic functionality of what we have.
Yeah. Yeah. The menu
Save
could be a
states
lot
work fine.
nicer.
Yeah,
And
and
one other thing that we have found that is missing, that also leads you to believe it's not such a polished experience, is that there are no instructions for the games at
yeah,
all.
Yeah.
There's no manuals you can view. There's no pop-up box you can click on to tell you what the controls are. It's just dumping you straight into the game.
And
Yeah,
then you
there's
have
a
like
little info thing that tells you about the game, but it's real basic stuff.
nothing about how to play it.
I was thankful some of the games I haven't played before. Like for example, I guess the first experience was playing wrestling, and I thought I was just stuck with this one character. And Mo told me later, he's like, "You can change characters, you know." It's like, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I forget how you do it. You press like the down or something like that, I think, to select the characters from that screen, but they all have a certain person they're matched with. But yeah, you can choose from any of the great wrestlers. Um, it's not a horrible game.
But you make a good point for something that's had over a year in development, and you would think that this would be something that they've had finished for a long time, and they could have devoted a team to polishing it up a bit.
I
But they
think they
haven't.
just don't think about that stuff. I know there were some reports of people saying that they were getting burn in on their screens,
Oh wow.
which with an LCD screen, you're not really going to get true burn in. You might get like an image retention where the image will stay there for a little while and then eventually go away as other things. But yeah, I mean, you've got these. Not only are the NES games have a lot of static crap on them that doesn't move, but now you've also got these prompts that don't move.
Yep.
So were you for some reason to get into a heavy duty 3 hour session on some of these NES games, um, you might very well see the little outlines on your Switch screen or on your TV screen. Uh, but yeah, they definitely should have an option to stretch it, even if it looks horrible, um, and a way to get rid of their prompts. Like I
Yeah.
hate that. Otherwise, the rest of it, I mean, I guess the cloud saves are okay. Um, it's
I
there.
will. I will say that, as I think I mentioned this last week, the app connection for the NES portion of the voice chat stuff through the app is pretty smooth. It connects quickly
Yeah,
and it's more intuitive than in Splatoon, where you have to go to like a special place and then go to the app and back and forth.
yeah. That was like one of the first things we tested. I think last week was that the voice chat app, and
Yep.
somehow neither of us had deleted it from our phones yet. It's okay, um, but no one's ever going to use that, or very rarely, I would think. Maybe kids who didn't know any better.
Yeah, I mean, I could see very rare instances where you'd want to use that, but
Like when you have a friend who's every time he hooks up with you has a huge echo on the line.
oh, we're not talking about any
Yeah.
specific friend when we mention that.
And
But,
it's only tied to certain services.
that's right. Well,
Um,
there are some people that like maybe you've met in game, but you don't really know them well enough to say
yeah,
like, "Hey, let's get on Google
that's
Hangouts
true.
or Discord or."
But the thing is, if you don't already know them off of the system, there's no way to coordinate that. I mean,
Yeah,
I guess if they were somebody that you followed on Twitter or something, you could DM them on Twitter and be like, "Hey, let's let's both get in on this NES voice app at this time tonight." But yeah, one of the big features lacking from the service that people have complained about is there's no messaging system, which
Yeah.
the other two competitors both have. Even if it's and really, I mean, for the longest time, for a little while anyway, the 3DS even had Swap Doodle worked as a way to be like, hey, I'm going to be on Animal Crossing tonight at 7 o'clock. You want to meet up? Okay, sure. Even though it was the stupid handwritten stuff, like at least there was a way to coordinate stuff a little bit like that. It's like now there's really no way.
Even if they just had like pre-written messages you could send to your friends,
Yeah,
you could join up without having to have another way to do it.
Splatoon used to have a feature in Splatoon 1 for the Wii U. You could go to a website and set up a playtime and then post on Twitter if there was something like that, and say, I'm playing
oh
this
yeah,
mode at this time.
that
Yeah.
was part of
Something like that.
Splatnet, wasn't it? Splatnet
Uh,
one,
yep.
and And 3DS and Wii U, I guess, even if you really wanted to, they have a way that in your online status you can put a little message on your banner. I've
Yep.
seen people have conversations over that, as annoying as it is.
Oh yeah.
But nothing like that on Switch.
Yeah, I
Um,
still have conversations with Eric on occasion
oh yeah,
through
on the
that.
3DS.
Yeah, just be a few words back and forth, but sometimes.
But the online itself is pretty much the same as it ever was.
Yeah.
Um, it is hard to justify other than it's just like, I guess I'll do it, which is a bad excuse. But
It's
like
really
it
you don't have
feels,
a choice.
yeah, it feels like you should just be like, I'm not gonna buy it because Nintendo didn't put any effort into this really.
Yeah.
I'm still on my 7-day free trial, although I think it's up really soon. It's been a week.
Yeah, as I mentioned in the opening, there are some websites that have claimed that this is flawless. I'm very curious, and if
Yeah.
you're listening out there and you have had good experiences playing online, I'd love to hear from you. Want to know what we're doing wrong, if we're doing something wrong, because
Well,
it's frustrating. Like we said last week, we haven't been able to finish a game of Tecmo Bowl without being disconnected, and that's
yeah.
not that long.
And we play Fortnite all the time
Yeah, we
Yeah.
on the
played that for
Switch.
hours. Yep.
For hours.
And we played
And
Splatfest
Splatoon,
last
yeah.
weekend for
Yeah.
hours, and any other online game that's been up.
And it seems like Nintendo must have known this was going to be an issue because they programmed all this crap to pop up while you're playing. As they're probably like playing around the office and they're like, shit, I can't figure it out. I guess we'll just throw up some sort of message. Um, that's the most like mind-boggling. Is it seems like there's a minimal amount of data being exchanged
Mm-hmm.
between the two people. Like certainly less than Splatoon,
Right.
I would think. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Unless they just did it some overly complicated way.
Well,
But
I can
I don't see other
understand.
people complaining about it either, though. I don't see Twitter filled up with people like, man, this online sucks.
I can't figure out either. Like you have the bars over at the edge of the screen that show your connection strength, and
Yeah.
it's like you start and they're full, or you have 4, and then it drops down to none, and then it's 2, and then it's none, and then it's 2. I don't understand why it's changing that much when you're not changing positions in your home and you're not doing anything more or less online.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. And what are you supposed to do with that information? I
Not
mean,
not blame Nintendo.
just get closer to the router or
I
what?
guess. Hardwire in. Yeah, I don't know.
And as to why you don't see people complaining about it on Twitter, it's because no one cares.
Yeah, and that could be it too. We're the only ones that have played the NES games online.
I've noticed over the week, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you saw people online. You might get online and you'd have 3 or 4 friends online playing it, and then towards the weekend there was 1 or 2 people online playing it. And now this week, I don't think I've seen anyone online playing NES games.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah.
novelty is worn off after only a week. That's why I think that week trial is going to shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are going to try it for a week and be like, "Well, that was fun." But I mean, it really, unless you're only playing Fortnite, you pretty much need to have it.
But
Yeah.
but if I didn't have Splatoon 2, or I wasn't interested in continuing to play Splatoon 2, I'm not really playing anything else online that I
Yeah,
couldn't get. So
you
why take
paid
out the
for
service?
Rocket League, and now you can't play it unless you've got the service,
It's true.
even though you
That's
don't really
true.
play it anymore. Um, but yeah, anything that comes in the future, you're going to need it. And I'm sure they're counting on Smash to be a big online thing, although I never really played Smash online.
Smash
That's where I
Online
go to
is
get my
really
ass
cool.
kicked.
Yeah. The only time you play Smash Online is if you know somebody that's a
Yeah.
similar skill level you can enjoy playing with.
And I played Mario Kart 8 enough on the Wii U that I don't really ever play that on the Switch. So I don't know. They've really only got a handful of compelling enough games to justify even having an online service.
Yeah, they really do.
Like the
Yeah.
more I think about it, I'm like, why do they even need an online service at all? For 5 games? But whatever. Maybe some other people are all over it.
And one other thing I wanted to mention before we got away from this, and the voice chat for the app, we did find out if you go into the app and look at some of the menus, there is a listing for future support, I guess, for some upcoming or games that are already out. Mario Tennis Aces, ARMS, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So theorizing, are we eventually going to be able to talk to randos online?
That seems to be it, yeah. I wonder if you can in Splatoon 2 yet. Now that you
Well,
can add randos to your party,
that's true.
could you all hook up in the online?
I wonder if we went through the online lounge to play Splatfest, if it would have added a rando to our conversation.
Oh, now you're thinking like a predator.
I'm thinking like someone has to play some rando because their other teammate refuses to play. I'm done with Splatoon.
But you have to be like, and that's the thing, you're only going to get kids because you have to, unless somebody's like intently hoping to find a friend and just leaves their Nintendo Switch app open on their phone. Like, oh God, I hope this next group I get in is playing with the app so I can talk to somebody.
Well, that's what I was meaning. If you went in through the online lounge, if you could, I don't know if it disabled filling with people or I don't know how that would work because it's 2 different places in Splatoon.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. Yeah, that's true.
I wish I'd have thought and tried that just to see what happened. Not that I wanted to voice chat with anyone that we played with,
but now that this online service has been out for a week, everyone's gone back to not looking at that app again, probably.
Yeah.
If anyone ever even bothered to open it back up in the first place.
Yeah.
Sorry,
or re-download it, yeah.
Everyone already has a different way to chat with their friends, so.
Yeah. It's worthless. Other than that, we didn't really talk a ton about 6.0, or did we?
We didn't really.
Came out. There wasn't a lot with it.
No.
We got some Captain Toad avatars.
It was pretty much all the little tidbits that were leaked, and that was it.
Yeah. Everything you heard is true. The cloud save backup. You know what the online service could really use? Netflix.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Crunchyroll.
And everything else.
Web browser.
YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, web. I really kind of expected the web browser to come with the online.
I did too.
And if you've had to sign into hotel Wi-Fi somewhere, you know the web browser works.
Yeah.
Or anywhere that requires you to sign into a page, you see it.
Although I've heard some people complain about that it still doesn't process those right in certain hotels and stuff, and people can't get online with their Switch. But
I've
yeah,
only tried it at one place and it worked. So
I've worked around, in the past the browser and used it to watch YouTube videos and stuff on my Switch. But we know there's something there. Rocket League uses it. In their news section, you can click on it and go to Rocket League's website and read certain articles through Rocket League. But if you try to click away from that page, it blocks you, which I don't know why. I guess they're protecting the kids from the big bad porn on the internet that you were free to surf on the Wii U and the Wii and 3DS and new 3DS XL.
I guess I keep thinking back to those comments from Nintendo about they wanted it to be a game machine first. And I guess that's part of it, but now they've got their game machines with their features.
Maybe they looked at the Wii U and they saw that the internet browser and Netflix were the 2 most used things on the system, and they're like, Netflix fucked us. No Netflix. That's why we couldn't sell any games. It's because everybody was watching Netflix and surfing the web. I'll show them.
And they got rid of Miiverse, so
Because
Yeah.
we're always speculating on how Nintendo reads data, and certainly I bet Netflix and the Internet Explorer, or not the Internet Explorer, whatever it is, the Internet app on the Wii U are probably two of the most playtime wise. They don't even track the playtime. Well, I guess they do track the playtime now, just not as well. But maybe that could be it. Maybe they were like, well, looking at this data, it would suggest that people were too busy doing these other things to buy all of our awesome games, like the crappy Mario Tennis and crappy Mario Party that nobody remembers. For
little
Wii
did I
U.
realize that people would just turn off their console and
Yeah.
go to their computer or to their phone. Yeah. That's interesting, though. There's
I never
some
thought of
reason
that
to
until
it.
just now.
Yeah, that's interesting thinking.
Do you think that the phone app should just be on the Switch?
I think voice chat should just be integrated into the games like it is with Fortnite.
Yeah.
I can see their reasoning for not doing it that way because although you could make it work, but like PlayStation and Xbox, there's like wireless headsets and stuff that they use, and you can easily just do that on Switch too. I don't know if they were just thinking you don't want all these wires, but then again, when you saw the original concept for the Splatoon 2 with all those wires,
Yeah.
um, I don't know what they were thinking, but yeah, and then they had said that it wasn't possible. I think that was one of their excuses was it's not possible to do voice chat on the Switch directly. And then Fortnite pretty much proved that to be wrong.
Yeah.
So
I want to jump ahead on one of our topics here, and that is there was some data mined information from Splatoon 2 that is showing voice chat icons within the game and on off for voice chat within the game. So perhaps it's something coming in the future. Maybe they're seeing that people aren't using the app, but I don't know.
yeah. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
it's sad that they've out of their 5 pillars that app is one of their pillars. That's one of the great values you're getting for your $20.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it seems hard to believe that they would just abandon it, but maybe it'll just be an option. But
But
yeah,
if you were from the outside looking in, if you did not know about the app, if you were just a fan in the store, or not really a fan, but just a consumer in the store, and you're buying a Switch, and it's like, oh, they've got a Nintendo Switch app. That's got to be something cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
You would think it was something better than it is, and maybe that's why they're selling it as such. And maybe in Japan, people use it or something. I don't know.
like it's awesome. It's even got a picture of my me. I love it. Yeah, I mean the Splatnet is cool, although it
Yeah.
also seems like it's all shit that should just be in the game somewhere
Yep.
too.
Yeah.
Like and that's the thing is like all the stuff that the app can do. It's all like, well, this would have been just as useful or just as fun in the game. It's not like I'm gonna be on a road trip somewhere and be like, man, I wish I could see what my last 50 Splatfest battle,
Yep.
results were.
Wish I could see how much I've inked with that
Yeah.
last weapon I was using.
I wonder what's
I
in the store.
wonder what the ink would be akin to as far as Mount Kilimanjaro or something.
We've all wondered that.
If only there was a way that they could tell me like how much I've inked and put it in a real world place so I could have some sort of concept.
Okay, I still have this question about the app, and if you're listening out there and you have surpassed my ink level, I'm wanting to know if is there more wallpapers than the common ones you see, and what do they look like? Not that I will ever use them, but do they exist?
You might be able to just
I've googled it and I don't see anything.
well, nobody uses the app.
That's why.
But they're out there somewhere. I'm sure there's something.
How many do you have so far?
No, I don't remember. My phone's in the other room, or I would just look.
I feel like I've only got like 2, but I don't play as much as you.
Yeah, I've gotten 2.
I think I've had 2. That's what I know. Is there more out there?
The next milestone seems like a lot further.
Yeah, it was huge amount of
Yeah.
ink. Yeah.
Yeah.
Meh.
Eh. We did have one game talking about Nintendo Switch Online support that decided to update their game and remove Nintendo Switch Online requirements. We're talking about Pinball FX3.
Yeah, which I guess I could sort of see why they might do that. Um, although, I mean, the only thing they're really losing is the cloud saves. That's the thing. That's what they tie you to.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see
Yeah.
for pinball, they say, "Hey, I don't want someone to have to pay $20 because pinball does have online leaderboards and stuff like that. So there is some online service involved."
But a lot of these games that offer things like
Wait a
leaderboards,
minute.
that's not included in the Save Cloud backup.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, I think I don't because I guess you can't. I don't know that you can really necessarily do head-to-head pinball, but I could compare my scores with your scores and stuff.
I don't know if this is the one that does it, but some of the pinball apps actually offer here's your top scoring friends for this table, or
Yeah, Pinball
Mhm.
FX3, which really, I mean, that's my favorite one, and I still go back to it and play around, even though I haven't bought any of the tables. I know Barry's a big fan of that pinball one too. Um, it's a real nice game. But yeah, I did notice that, and it was the news headline that it must have been because I think the way I understand it with developers, it's pretty much you can either check a box like yes, I want to participate in online or no. And if you say no, you're supposedly have to have a good reason, but it probably was just automatic. And then
right.
somebody, because they caught it, it was like literally the next day that they were like, "We're submitting a patch to remove ourselves from this Nintendo Online thing." But I could see for something that's a free to play and they're just trying to sell pinball tables individually that they want to kind of remove that extra hurdle of you um, having to buy the online to participate in their online stuff. Plus, most of that's probably on their servers anyway, like their leaderboards and stuff.
I would imagine
I would
so.
imagine everything's
Yeah.
probably backed up through them because I think that does have a. I think I had to create a login. I can't remember if I had to create an actual login for Pinball FX or not.
I don't remember either. It's been a long time.
Yeah, but yeah, that's interesting. Although it's not as, I could see a good reason why they might want to do that, just to, especially when they're just kind of buying. You're just selling tables individually. You don't want people to have another barrier to entry for that. Like, well, I'd get the Jurassic Park table, but then I gotta pay for the online too.
Hmm. Yeah,
But
that makes
it's not a
sense.
real online heavy game. Like I said, it's most. I think it's only leaderboards really.
I think so as well.
But I can look and
Yeah.
see like how my scores stack up with you and Max and Barry. All my pinball friends.
So speaking of Nintendo Switch Online and selling, I did find this interesting little fact. Nintendo Switch Online was the best seller on Amazon. I believe this was the day after launch. It was #1 in video games. So wow.
Who are these people?
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, why don't you just go to the eShop?
Yeah.
Why are you adding this extra hurdle for yourself? It's like
Or
I could go to
Yeah.
the eShop and instantly get it on my credit card, or I could put that same credit card on a website, order something, wait for them to email me, then go to the eShop and enter the code they sent me. That's way better.
you can even do it through Nintendo.com if I'm not mistaken.
Possibly, yeah, probably. I mean, the only reason I could possibly think is because I've got $10 or $15 in Amazon credit to use. But aside from having Amazon credit to use, I can't think of another reason that you would go to Best Buy or Amazon or wherever else to buy this.
Yeah. I don't get that either.
Unless you were buying it as a gift, maybe, but
That's
I
true.
don't think, I don't know. Well, I guess you could. Could you gift it? I guess.
Well, your
They're
friends
giving
like
you
you
a
to gift it
code.
to them.
Yeah, I guess they're giving you a download. They're emailing you a download code, so I guess you could do that. I guess you could gift video games that way too. You could buy digital video games on there and then
Mm.
just email the code to a friend or whatever. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But I checked again today. I made sure and took a note of the website or the link to the video games on Amazon, and it has dropped to 40th.
Oh no.
So, yeah.
Maybe people figured out they can get it in the eShop.
Yeah. Well, I would say after that initial day, people have stopped buying it, or after,
Yeah.
especially after the first week.
I don't imagine there's a ton of fence sitting on the
No,
it's
I
like
don't think so.
they're like, maybe I'll get it someday. I don't know.
If you don't need it, there is no reason to buy it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's for sure. Unless you're willing to rent 20 NES games for $1 a month or $1 a game
Yeah.
for a year. $1 per game gets you a year for each game. And more to come. More games that you don't want.
That you've never played, and you will soon find out why you never played.
Now, I know you've been a little bit more exploratory than myself, but I haven't counted, but I probably would say around half of the games I've not even opened.
Yeah, a lot of the games that
Yeah.
I've already that
you
I've
went
played
through
before.
Yeah. I did. Yeah, I know. I haven't opened Ghosts and Goblins. I haven't opened
I
Double
would,
Dragon, which I know you opened both of those.
if you haven't opened Ghosts and Goblins, there's no need to. That
Yeah,
game is just as hard as it was when you were a kid.
I know it's got some sort of classic status. I think people just it must be one of those things that you remember the game. Like, oh, I remember renting that when I was a kid, but if you go back, it's not a good game.
Okay, I've got to ask this. So the opening to the game is this guy, and he's in his underwear with his armor laying beside him, and he's
Yeah.
apparently on a date with some girl. It looks like she's maybe in a wedding dress. What? In a graveyard. This is in a graveyard. Is this a popular
Yeah.
thing I'm just not aware of? I mean,
It's the
If you
honeymoon.
hang out in the goth crowds,
oh, I see. I'm just hanging out in the wrong groups.
yeah.
It's on the honeymoon in the graveyard.
In the
That is
graveyard.
tradition.
Well, I'm glad you guys are able to enlighten me because I'm just like, this is a really weird opening to a
They're
game.
probably listening to heavy metal. You just can't tell.
I see.
Yeah, it was a different time.
A very different time.
Yeah.
Just how things were then.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just not an enjoyable game from what I remember. And most of them aren't. I've played soccer for the first time in my life now,
How was it?
which it was very much reminiscent of the ice hockey game actually, and kind of how the mechanics work to it. It might be the same game with a different skin.
I will say, soccer is one of the elusive games for me because when I played a lot of these games through Animal Crossing back on the GameCube, I guess. Yep. And soccer was the only one that I didn't have.
Oh, yeah.
And
Got
it's
it
like,
now.
and it's like I really wanted to play that, and I've played one part of a match, and it's like, okay, let's play some.
Yeah. That's all. I had never played Ice Climber before.
Oh, isn't that a glorious game?
It's a treat. I mean, I know I've heard so many people complain about it.
Max,
If it wasn't for the Ice Climbers being in Smash, I don't know that Nintendo would still be putting this game out all the time.
Yeah, I didn't care for that.
was that
I've
your
never
first
been fond of
experience
Balloon Fight.
playing
Oh,
Max?
Toon Max?
Yeah, that was my first time for Ice Climber. First time for Balloon Fight. Playing it with Jason, I'm like, how do you do this?
Yeah.
I have to say,
What am I supposed to do?
Flap.
Some part of me enjoys Balloon Fight. I don't know what it is. It's like one of those games you start playing it and this is terrible, and then you find yourself playing it for an hour or so a day.
Wow.
or something. I did it back in Animal Crossing. I haven't since
Oh.
online has come out, but
Yeah.
because there's
And
Fortnite or
that's the thing about these games, which I think we probably mentioned last week, or I know I mentioned last week. But yeah, anyone who wants to play these games has already played them
Yeah.
1,000 times, 1,000 different ways.
So
Just like
which
you've played them in Animal Crossing.
so which of these games are you most happy to be able to play again?
to be able to play again.
Or play for the first time, whatever.
It's nice to have Super Mario and Super Mario 3 in your back pocket. Those are good.
Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah.
That's
I don't
my
know where. I don't know why Super Mario 2 got shafted. It's a good game.
I would replay that game if I had it on the Switch
Yeah.
right now.
I replayed it. It seems like in the last year or so. I've got it on 3DS, as most of these are. I mean, Tecmo Bowl is the only game that I've played through. I guess if you can consider that playing through, because you just pick a team and then you play all the other teams, and it says you've won the Tecmo Bowl. So you might not know, but Tecmo Bowl is their term for Super Bowl. So at the end of,
Oh.
so at the end of Tecmo Bowl, because it's made by Tecmo, your teams face off in the playoffs, and then finally you make it to the Tecmo Bowl.
Okay.
Wow.
Tecmo Bowl has been a game that's been on my wish list on the 3DS for a long time. It's one I've thought about picking up, but I've never took the final step and bought it. And I have to say, it is a much deeper game than I ever expected an NES game to be, especially an
Yeah.
early NES game.
And it's not super deep, but it's just enough.
There's more to it than you think. I mean, I checked it out, and there's 2 or 3 websites that's dedicated to it, and it tells you
Oh yeah.
why the teams are different, and it's actually the stats in the game are based off.
People are still, yeah, they are. Well, and that's originally it had the license of the NFLPA. So it's like if you play as the Raiders or Oakland in there, it's Bo Jackson as
Right.
the running back. Joe Montana, or I think Joe Montana was the 49ers
49ers.
quarterback at that time.
Dan Marino for the Dolphins.
Yeah, and so it's like, and truth be told, the best football game on NES is Super Tecmo Bowl, which also was released for Super NES. But the Nintendo version is great. But this is just regular Tecmo Bowl. But the Super Tecmo had a battery save, so you could actually save your seasons, and it would actually save stats, and players could get injured, and they would be out, and you'd have to sub them for other things. It was just a better presentation of the game. But Tecmo Bowl is a classic, and it's hard. It's a weird cross between arcade football and like the John Madden football.
Like it's got a simulation to it almost.
I almost wonder if it's the first one that actually had plays in it, that you could choose plays. I don't know. I guess all of them would have had to have run or pass at least before that. I'd never played Nintendo's 10-yard fight. Where's that at? That should have been on the list.
I forgot about that.
I've never played it, but
I haven't either.
It's horrible. I've never heard anyone get nostalgic about 10-yard fight. And baseball I'd never played before either.
I kind of like baseball. It's okay.
It's hard to make a bad baseball game. I've never really cared for the bases loaded, but that's because I'm not a fan of the pitcher view. Instead of being the batter view, it's bases loaded is switched, so you're batting by looking at the pitcher's ass.
Oh.
So your viewing is from the mound. So I don't like that view as much. But they had to do something to differentiate themselves from the other baseball games, I guess. But RBI is my baseball game, specifically RBI 3, which was just the last and most refined of the RBIs on NES. So much so that it got me to buy RBI Baseball last year for Switch, which got me to not buy RBI Baseball this year for Switch.
So what is your favorite game from the NES collection, though?
I mean, I will say Tecmo Bowl is the game that I own on 3DS and Wii U, and I think I had it on Wii. So like that's a good perennial time killer. Um, it's probably between that and Dr. Mario are the ones. Those are games I can always just throw in and turn my brain off and play. Um, but I like Grid. I mean, I've rearranged my icons on mine um, from like useful to worthless. So and Yoshi is my dead last game, and Ghosts and Goblins is next to that. Um,
Yeah, she's not terrible. I've played that
yeah,
for a little bit.
that's. But I like Gradius as well. Donkey Kong's fun for 2 seconds, but I definitely think Tecmo Bowl and Dr. Mario are the big stars. If you're done with Super Mario Brothers and Super Mario 3, which everyone should be by now.
No,
I will say Dr. Mario and Tecmo Bowl have a replayability that I don't get from. I can't always just throw on Super Mario Brothers or Super Mario 3
right.
um, and
You have
pick
to
it
be in
up.
a mood for
Yeah,
it.
yeah. But Dr. Mario, I can get down with anytime. It's like Tetris, but not.
Yeah. How about you, Max? Is there anything that you've discovered newly or remember
Uh,
fondly?
no, Dr. Mario. That's my number one, and I really want to go through Legend of Zelda again.
Oh, that's good.
Have you gone through that before? Back in the day?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I have to back
I know.
3DS.
Wow. See, I've never played through the NES one. Like, I remember renting it a bunch when I was a kid, and the
Oh,
novelty of the gold cartridge. But like I said, I'm not a Zelda guy.
Right.
it's not
Uh,
bad. It's not bad to finish, especially if you
uh,
use a guide online.
Yeah.
I saw
It's a
Barry
remastered
is
one.
going through a swordless play of it
Yeah.
because he's hardcore.
That
Nice.
sounds interesting to me.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
impressive that people can do that.
that got to be popular during Breath of the Wild, where people were rebeating that game with using a stick or something instead of the Master Sword or doing without weapons or whatnot.
Hmm.
So,
That'd probably work right until you hit Ganon or a Lionel. Can you imagine how long it'd take out a Lionel if you were just tossing bombs at him the whole time? Like,
like all night long. What
Gravis.
did you do? I was up all night.
Yeah, that'd be rough. Uh, yeah, I mean that's a classic too, and like I said, I don't have the same love for it that a lot of people do, but that's a good quality title. Double Dragon, it's like that was one of the ones I had when I was a kid, so
Oh,
it's
I,
fine.
I remember playing Double Dragon as a kid and I enjoyed it, but now I've played it when I can play it, and it's like I don't see how this is a winnable game. Um,
No, there's definitely a point where it's game over for the most part. I mean, I guess you could technically make yourself a save state and just grind the crap out of it.
yeah, but I'm usually at such a bad point when I get to that far in the game. It's like kind of
Yeah.
pointless to make a save state. I don't know.
And I guess I should throw some love to Excitebike, which I don't really have any love for. But that's one that we haven't mentioned that's in there. That was the weirdest one to me because the Arcade Classics edition of Excitebike came out on Switch last week, 2 days after the NES.
Yep.
I wonder how that's doing in the sales. And another thing,
Well,
I can't believe I just was looking at the best sellers tonight on the Switch eShop, and Versus Super Mario Brothers is still in the best sellers. Now it's dropped a level to like 22 or 23, but people are still buying it this week.
Oh,
it's amazing.
Do they not know the NES is a thing?
You have it for free now if you've paid for
Yeah,
online.
And not just that, I guess we should also mention, if you want, just for fun, if you have a Japanese account, you can go on there and download the Famicom version
Mm-hmm.
of the NES, which is all the same games, but you get arguably cooler box art out of it. And Legend of Zelda is the disc system version, so you'll have better music,
Oh.
but
Oh,
but everything's in Japanese.
that's pretty neat.
Yeah. So I think that's as far as I know, that's the only game that's different from the Japanese version to the US version, because that was like their first disc system game, I think, or one of the first big ones that only came to Famicom. Is that the Discun?
That's what I was going to say. Is that where we get Discune at?
I think so. But yeah, it's got just a slightly. It's really just more instruments in the music, basically. And I
Cool.
think the sound effects are different in the game in that version as well. So it's kind of nice that they did that. But as time goes on, there might be more. They might differentiate, since it's Famicom and the other one's NES. Just like the classics, they had some that got different games. We might end up getting different games for the Famicom version versus the NES one. So a little extra value for your money, but right now it's just different box art for the most part.
So you can still access that
Yep.
without having
Yeah,
a family
you,
account?
you can access it from your North American account.
Yeah.
So you can download it from your eShop even if you don't have that account, on
Oh,
the online. You can still download it,
oh, okay.
and then just actually open the game from your paid account.
Oh, very cool.
Oh.
Neat thing to try out if you haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, we're talking about Nintendo Switch Online doing well on Amazon, but Nintendo Switch Online has also done pretty well for Nintendo themselves. As of September 22nd of this year, their stock has officially recovered from the drop it had at E3. So that was pretty cool. If you bought the stock when it was at the lowest, which was around E3, you could have got it up to $7,000 per stock increase if you were selling it now. So that's a pretty huge jump.
That's good money.
That's good money. Good money for Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess we should go ahead and roll into the second thing which has caused the stock to rise with Nintendo, which is the topic all over Twitter and any social media website you're on. And this brought it up actually more than Nintendo Switch Online and the Direct. And that is Bowsette.
Yeah. The internet is in love with Bowsette.
Yeah, definitely.
Because she's hot. Oh. I think the name is wrong because it implies Toadette. The whole thing with Peachette. So if this that's New
Yeah.
Super Mario Brothers U for Switch has the Peachette, which is Toadette gets a peach crown and turns into Peachette.
Which isn't Peach. It's just
it's
like a peach version of Toadette.
Yep.
Right. So then people were like, "Well, hey, wouldn't it be awesome if Bowser turned into Peach or vice versa?" But then they called it Bowsette. But there's no Toadette, so you shouldn't have an ad. If anything, it should be Beach or Powser.
Peach there.
But the meme has already taken off, and Bowsette it is.
I've actually saw that one of the news sites that we follow is giving away a custom amiibo
Oh, I saw that too.
of Peach that's made into Bowsette.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
They were really quick on that.
Wow.
It's almost, yeah. They were like, I got to get right on this. Those people who do custom amiibos really seem to know how to just fire them out, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's like they're like, oh, all I need to do is paint this and do this. No problem. But
So
yeah, it's been a whirlwind.
for those who may have not, and if you're not on social media at all, that would be the only way. Those who have not seen Bowsette, how would you describe Bowsette?
It is a sexier goth version of Peach, kind of. It's
Like
I don't
a,
know.
a, a
It's
feminine Bowser.
You said sexy
yeah,
goth version of Peach, and immediately Z joins.
that's right. He knows what's up.
That's my mating call.
Oh my. I mean, you might not want to search for it.
Just get on Twitter, or I'm sure it's on Facebook, or maybe even Instagram. I don't know. You'll come across it if you follow any kind of Nintendo people.
There's it's Peach with
a black dress.
A black dress, usually very overly busty. A black choker around her neck, some spikes, you know.
And she usually has like a
And
little
horns.
Bowser tooth sticking out.
Yeah. No. Z, have you seen Bowsette?
I have not seen this Bowsette, no.
You can just go to Twitter and type in Bowsette, and you'll be inundated with the new Rule 34.
I've also seen a couple of Chomp-ettes.
Yeah, I saw that coming up.
There's got to be a Waluigi jet coming somewhere. It's just a matter of time. But yeah, I mean, people are making dolls out of this, custom amiibos, drawings.
And to get back to the number side of this was the #1 trending topic on Twitter of Japan, and the stock increase went from 44 points to 46 points. So this just proves that any kind of news on for Nintendo on Twitter is good news, apparently.
Yeah, what's even funnier is I just did a quick Twitter search for Bowsette, and it says related searches: Bowsette lewd, Bowsette lewds. So
that's interesting.
The internet knows what they like.
Lewds.
Yeah, not those lewds. But yeah, it's
I would love to see Nintendo run with this and make it like one of the alternate colors for Peach and Smash.
Yeah, it's probably too late to get Bowsette and Smash.
But I hope that it would be kind of interesting if Nintendo did take this and run with it, or even if they just made a public tweet about it.
Bowsette's Trick Poker. Yeah, we'll see what they do. Knowing the way they respond to memes, it'll be a month or two before they get around to addressing it.
A month or two? You mean like 3 years?
A year or two.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of these even, I guess she's got a tail in some of them. Some of them she's got a Bowser shell on her back.
Wow, I've only seen a couple that have come up in my feed, and the ones I've seen were not lewd at all. They were just like Peach in a black dress with the little tooth.
Well, the ones I've seen look like Bowser, only all.
Yeah, most of the ones I've seen are not particularly lewd.
Yeah.
Some of them are obnoxiously busty just because that's that girl thing.
Well, yeah, that's what I see more than anything.
There's a lewd one.
Yeah. Well, you added lewds. But I've also been seeing there's girls who are already cosplaying.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just saw one of those go by. Yeah, a little Asian girl.
Wow.
By just putting on black underwear, basically. Look, I'm Bowsette.
Well, this one had a little. Yeah, this one has the spiky. This was part of your repertoire anyway. The spiky collar and
Yeah.
whatever,
Or if they did Peach
and the blonde
cosplays
wig.
or whatever. Yeah. Because it does seem to have the crown still in between the horns.
And I will say,
Or in between something in some of
Yeah.
these.
the first time I saw this, which kind of says to the effect of how much this is, was a professional artist on Twitter that I follow that does the video game fan art type stuff. And the first thing I saw was them doing like a drawing of this. It's like, okay, what is this? And I just thought it was just a weird thing they had done, and then it's like, no, it's all over Twitter.
Yeah, it really took over. I don't know.
And they don't draw unusual things normally. It's just like normal fan art.
Yeah, that's the hot thing this week.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get a Bowsette icon in 6.1 or something.
Something.
I'm looking at a collection of some that would be great.
I bet you are.
No, we will not stream this live. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out, this is a great one of her smothering, I won't say what with. I'm also trying to figure out who.
I have seen that.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Some
yeah,
of them
there's some good ones.
where it's like Bowsette and Mario, and they say who needs Peach. That kind of thing. So
I saw somebody had mocked up like a video game box art, and it just had Bowser Jr. looking sad, and it said everyone's masturbating to my dad. I thought was funny. The internet will be over this in a week, I would imagine. But it's nice to know Nintendo can stay in the hearts and minds of people, at least for another week.
Yeah. And yeah, just FYI, Ludes is the way to go.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not really into the anime thing. Way, so they all look the same to me. Like, if you've seen any anime like that, you've seen them all. It's like it's the same 5 people drawing them all, it seems like.
With one hand, no doubt.
Yeah.
all right, before we go any further with this, we're going to go back to talking about Nintendo Switch Online, which is what we were talking about. It wasn't all good news for those players around the world who wanted to check into Nintendo's new online service. Players in China were met with black screens, connection errors, and they weren't sure why at first. And apparently, it's up because of the voice chat, because it is connected with Google servers, which is Google is banned in China. So, from what I've heard, there's been temporary workarounds. I don't know if Nintendo's going to address that, but not all happy endings for the launch of NSO.
Yeah, I would think with China being such a large and new market for Nintendo that they're going to get on that right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
That's kind of a big deal.
Yeah. And that's definitely the kind of market that all the game companies seem to be trying to edge their way into. So hopefully for the Chinese players, they will fix that for them. All right.
But they can probably still only play with other Chinese players.
That's probably true.
That's true.
I'm curious if they have all the games. I don't know. I haven't heard of that.
Not like there's not enough people in China to play with, though.
I'm sure certain ones are banned.
Yeah, I was wondering certain ones in certain countries.
Or just aren't worth translating because they won't do well, as opposed to being banned or whatever.
Of course, a lot of these games don't exactly have a lot to translate.
Yeah, fair enough.
But just the title screen, basically.
Yeah.
All right, so talking about these NES games, this is something that came up recently. It's from a news article on Japanese Nintendo, I believe was the one that broke this story. So, in the Switch eShop, someone has found in the JSON which is the JavaScript object notation, that the word virtual console exists. And I guess in further looking into this, they found out that this has been on Nintendo.com since the launch of the Switch. And it contains things for the NES, Super NES, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Nintendo DS, Nintendo 64, and then other category. So could we possibly still get Virtual Console at some point? Or do you think that's just something that's been left there and just not cleaned up?
I think the second one.
Yeah, my opinion is it's the second.
Yeah.
It seems like they're going to be selling us individual, well, not even selling us, but they're going to be doing this in an individual module for NES games. But who knows? Maybe there will be ones that they can't license into the online and want to sell us a la carte.
I'm
the
sure
virtual consoles have so many games. It's sad that they have to start over with every system from scratch, it seems.
Yeah.
I kind of like what they have done as far as making the NES games into an app. If they had made that a virtual console app and one that could be updated with new games, and then that way, if we move to another system, we could just re-download the app and the games would all be there. It could have been a step in the right direction, I think.
Yeah, I am sort of curious if these games will always be there, or if they'll lose licenses for some of them, or they're only licensed for so long, and
certain things will rotate
as other
in and
things.
out.
Yeah,
I'm certain you're right. I mean, then Netflix already does that, and I think they're looking at those kind of models. I think they're looking at the movie streaming services as a model, and so the movie streaming services all rotate stuff in and out and have forever. Even cable channels, right? They'd have a bunch of stuff that's new or that they're running all the time for the next few weeks or months, and then that rotates out.
One leaves Netflix, and then next month it's on Amazon.
Yeah, in a lot of cases,
back and forth. Yeah,
and I wonder if they'll use it as a promotion, like if you want to play Super Mario Brothers 3, it will be leaving the Nintendo Switch Online service in a month or in June or whatever.
Well, and that's the thing. So stuff like Super Mario Brothers 3, what justification would they ever have for pulling that? Like I would imagine stuff like that is going to be up there always, because that's something people are just always going to be looking for.
For 5 minutes.
Maybe.
I did play through the first level of Super Mario Brothers 3.
I mean, I have friends that go back and play old games like that. They're weird OCD people, but
yeah. I let my daughter play it for the first time. It's the first time she's ever played it. She was just excited that you could go back in it, because in the original Super Mario Brothers, once it screen scrolls, you can't go back.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's awesome that you made her start with the first one so that she would be excited that you go back.
Yeah, but I mean, she really started with Odyssey. Was really Odyssey was really the first one she played. I think, like I said, I think it helps that there's those 8-bit levels in that game. The art style is not like a shock to her. Like, what's this? But it's still too hard for her. It's not. They're not forgiving the fact that one Goomba can just kill you if you don't stomp on it right, or the shell recoil really gets her. When a shell bounces off something and comes back, she doesn't know how to jump real quick.
It's good learning experience for her.
Yeah, she got to play that. She got
good reflexes and all that business. Yeah, I mean,
she got to play Dr. Mario.
I think video games are good for kids to a point.
Yeah, and they're simple design, but they are unforgivingly in their difficulty. Like they're definitely a lot more conscious of that, even in like the new Super Mario Brothers that's coming out, the new Super Mario Brothers U for Switch. It's like I think they said the Nabbit character is invincible or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I mean, they throw stuff like that in all the games now.
not to walk down this dark alley, but would it not be better to leave the difficulty there at some point? Doesn't that help teach kids? I mean, I understand they're wanting to make it accessible to a younger audience, I suppose. But it's also like, it teaches your kids something, to get past that. I can still remember getting past certain areas as a kid, being excited.
Well, everybody gets a trophy these days, Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the mindset. And it's just different, right? Back then, it was like, that was like the best games were hard. Now kids have so many options, right? They don't have the patience for a difficult to learn game when there's so many uneasy games out there, right?
And I'm right there with them. I've professed my love of easy games for forever on this podcast. Although, like, Hollow Knight's one of those games that I thought about trying, and then everyone's like, "Oh, it's a really, really difficult game." I'm like, maybe I won't try it.
Now, I'm not. If people are saying a game is difficult, and one of our next topics here, we'll get into this. But if people say a game is difficult, that turns me away from it as well. I don't like a game that is difficult for the sake of being difficult. But something that offers an appropriate amount of challenge is fun.
Yeah, no.
And if the internet says it's difficult, then it must really be difficult.
Yeah,
because everything's too easy.
But it's like, and that's the thing, is a lot of people like it. There's a nostalgia thing about the old school difficult games, but a lot of them, and I think I pointed this out before too. A lot of them were difficult just because they had shitty control schemes or poorly designed levels, or like they weren't difficult by design. They were difficult just because, they were poorly designed in many cases.
Are you talking about Ice Climbers?
Yeah. Oh, for Ice Climbers. Yeah, the control. Yeah, for example, the jumping, like you have the way you have to line up to jump so you don't just end up jumping straight up, like, right, to actually get up to the next level. That's a friggin' nightmare, that jump.
You learned about that one, right, Max?
Yeah, no, I remember a friend of mine bought that, the kid that lived across the street from me when we were kids, and we spent several nights like beating our heads on that stupid game. I'm glad I didn't buy it.
And a lot of the games from that era were also just designed to eat quarters.
Yeah, I
think it took a long time to get out of that mindset.
At least a generation. It wasn't really until you're right. I would say, well, Super Mario Brothers 3, right? Super Mario Brothers 3 was the Mario formula redone for a home console. 2 I don't think was really, but 3 was when they first really kind of designed it with that in mind. But everything else, you're absolutely right. Everything up to that point was designed with quarter stealing and how many continues are you going to get and those kinds of things to make it a more bitter, repetitive experience.
Yeah.
Talking about this and the way you're talking about it, it seems like it's almost come full circle in video games, because now we're getting into a time to where it's pay to play, pay to win, kind of loot boxes and things in games. Just getting
microtransactions again.
Yep.
Yeah. Instead of shoving 4 quarters into the machine, because remember, arcades were getting to that point when they started dying.
Oh yeah.
So now instead of shoving 4 quarters into a machine, you're just virtually shoving them into a Rocket League loot box or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. It went away for a little while. There was a time when just selling the game was good enough.
Yeah. I miss those days.
Yeah, me too. There's still some now and then. That new Spider-Man game has gotten a lot of rave reviews, and there's no extra monetization to that, I don't think, unless maybe I don't know if they've got a season pass.
Talk to me about this new Spider-Man game.
Huh?
What's it out on?
It's PS4 exclusive. Sony has the rights to Spider-Man, like the movie and stuff. So.
Oh, okay. I wish we could get that on Switch.
Everybody does. Xbox wishes they could get it on Xbox. That's what an exclusive's supposed to do. They wish they could have Odyssey on PS4, I bet.
But you know what? At the end of the day, Spider-Man is never going to be Sony's mascot.
No.
Right.
No. I can't see that as a system seller. I'm sure it has. I'm sure
For
it's
a
sold
little
some
while.
systems,
I mean, I don't know when the last time I've heard anybody talk about Cuphead was, but for a while it was a big deal that was Xbox exclusive, even though that's
Yeah.
just a
Well,
indie
but it was
game.
Xbox exclusive for consoles, but it's also PC,
Oh.
available on PC. So it's a little more spread out. Sony, anything that's Sony exclusive pisses me off just because Sony pisses me off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about Sony.
Yeah. For a long time I thought if I ever bought a second console, I would buy a PlayStation. But it's the way they are in recent years, I don't think so. I just can't see giving them any type of support or money for their kind of actions.
Yeah, I don't. To me, they've become the console equivalent of EA,
Yeah.
right? The company I just don't like. Every time they're in the news, it's for something that I go, oh, what dicks, like pretty much anything you ever hear about EA is them saying or doing something crappy, and it kind of seems like Sony's the same the past, at least this generation.
Yeah, it seems
you kind of felt bad for them last generation because they were last place, but I'm beginning to feel like that sentiment was misplaced.
So, as we were talking about a few minutes ago about games that are said to be hard and turn out to be just as difficult as you've heard they were, this past weekend we got the chance to try one of those games.
Oh, yeah.
Dark Souls Remastered Network Test. So, I think most of us played this. It was just I do like how they did it. It was for 3 days from 8 to midnight, which was nice time frame. And it was all over the world. So, what did you guys think?
I genuinely passed, but just before you guys even start, I genuinely passed because of your guys' reviews. I was like, it crossed my mind. Like the first one came out, and I'm like, oh, the Dark Souls demo. Yeah, maybe I'll check that out. And then the rest of you guys started talking about it, and I'm like, maybe not.
Yeah,
we all had the same opinion.
Yeah, the thing is, like, not only and obviously I sucked at it. I've never played it before. Probably didn't understand the controls, but the combat for the character that I chose was very slow. Like, it seems like all the sword swings were very, very slow. And maybe I picked one with a heavier sword or something, and there's other ones that are quicker and maybe mine dealt more damage, but I couldn't. Well, I could kill like the little zombie guys. That was about it.
Yeah. Like there was a whole animation to go through before they finally stabbed with their sword.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a really old man picking up a really heavy sword.
Yeah.
Work his way up to get it up to swing it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
very disappointing.
I couldn't get into it, but obviously there must be more to the game because so many people do love it. But yeah, it wasn't for me. It reminded me of a Monster Hunter in some ways.
Yeah. The controls were very complicated. Like, can I just say, the first 30 seconds, I died twice. I don't know what other demo I've played where I died so many times in such a short amount of time.
Yeah. After my second death, I was like, all right, I've had enough of this.
Contra, maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe.
But you had the 30-man code back in Contra.
That's true.
Made it better.
Yeah.
This one, you die, you go back to start, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. At least in the demo. Yeah.
And I think Mo's the only one who's got the online to work. I know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Max had a different experience, but every time I tried to connect, or what I assume was trying to connect me to another player, I just got an error message.
Yeah, that's all I got.
I wasn't trying to connect to anybody. I was just hanging out, and it just said that another player had appeared. And I was like, oh, and then I turned around and there he was, and I was instantly dead. So I kind of expected that too. That there would be
Yeah,
people
no,
who've played it on other systems that can't wait for this network test.
yeah. That when I heard about that feature, for
Yeah.
like a split second, I go, "Oh, that sounds really cool," and then I think, no, that's terrible. That I imagine that, like, I immediately imagine that would go exactly how you experienced it.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like instead of competitive, I thought it was going to be cooperative playoff.
Yeah, so did I.
No, I that's how I like when I read the article. I heard like at least the one I read it just described it as, you know, you can go under other people's games and grief them.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, so that means people can do it to you. Yeah, no thanks. But I think there's an option to turn that off, isn't there? In the main game, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think
Probably.
I
so.
hope so.
I mean, it was rough. It was a difficult game to play.
Not our kind of game.
Not at all.
No.
And I have we have a common friend who has beat the game, and it's just like it's like he must play on a different level than we do. I have a newfound respect for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my friends had other friends that were telling him how great it was and how great it was. And then he's got PlayStation as well. So he was like, I got really into Dark Souls. And he said, you know, there is a sense of accomplishment in the difficulty of it that when you finally do get there, it feels good.
I don't know how far along story wise or whatever we were supposed to be to, but I mean, when you're having problems beating the first two enemies you come to, it's kind of like in Super Mario Brothers. You can't
Yeah.
get past the first two Goombas that come at you.
Well, from what I understand, the portion that they decided to use for the Switch demo is like the second or third level of the game when the difficulty starts ramping up. So they decided that would be the best part to drop new players into.
Wow.
Okay.
Who knows? Maybe we'll get another demo later down the line of the
I
single player.
probably will not download it.
Yeah, I think I'm done with it too. But somebody out there likes it. A lot of somebodies.
Yeah. It would be something I feel like if you wanted to get good at that game, you would really have to dedicate yourself to getting good at that game.
Yeah.
Like Monster Hunter.
Yeah. Same kind of appeal, I think. So speaking of games that we play together online, there was something happened this past weekend during the online 7-day pre-preview, and it's a new Splatfest with an all-new format. So I guess me and Max are the only ones that played.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but anyway,
I wanted to.
well, hopefully you'll get a chance to check it out next time.
Yeah.
I would say that it's a new coat of paint, but it's really the same
Old.
kind
Yeah.
of paint beneath.
It was really nice. It's really nice. There's 3 of us playing, and we got a 4th random.
It's just it's so too little, too late. I think I don't know if I
we
think
said that
somebody said that before, but it really is. It's that should have been from the beginning or very early on, and it's like the kludginess of the various modes and joining people, and it never felt like it came together solidly. I don't know. It always. We still played it. I put in a good amount of time into it, but not like I did the first game. It just felt like 1.5, and it's. I mean, I wanted to jump in for the Splatfest, but that's really all. The only thing that gets me back into it is the Splatfest these days.
Yeah.
That seems to be how it is for everybody. It's like
I think all of us had me and Max both played a little bit before to get our Grisco item for the month, but I know one of our other friends that joined us said they hadn't played since the last Splatfest. So
yeah, I hadn't played since the last one.
Yeah. But the new point system, the numbers you go to are much higher. Like the final one to get to the king or queen status is 999. But you still just get, like, instead of getting 2 points after a match, you get 20 points after a match. And far as the time it took us to get there, it was about the same amount of time.
Yeah.
And you guys did have one of the times 10 battles.
Well, the thing about that is it doesn't give you times 10 in points leveling up. It only gives you times 10 clout, which clout is the new word for Splatfest power. So,
A little disappointing.
yeah. It was really cool, though, when we got into the match and it pops up and it says, Splatfest battle, and then it says times 10, and it, smacks it up on the screen. It didn't verbally say times 10, but it pops it up on the screen, and it's like, all right, we're really in a cool match. And then, get extra points. And they added a feature that down in the bottom of the lobby, and it has like a scrolling news flash sequence going through. And it's, if you completed one of the times 10 or the times 100 matches, it puts your name and your team name up and scrolls through. So it's kind of cool in that way.
Yeah, that's kind of fun.
And they've given us all names, our team names, which were different.
I can't remember now.
The first one was something, playing with Max, we were called the Dudes or something. It was like, there was 3 guys. Of course, you play as a male character, I believe.
Yes, I do.
That's probably why, but it's like the Dudes. Something seems wrong with that. But then we found out, I think, later, it's based on clothes you're wearing and whether you're playing as squids or octolings and different things. They give you little nicknames.
One of our names was the Shooter Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the Sneaky Society.
Yeah.
And I thought we had another one too. That's the Storm.
That's right. When we were playing with
Stormy Squad.
Yeah, we had several of us had the Ink Storm going, or we all had the Ink Storm going, I believe.
Oh, did we? I wasn't sure. I can't remember now.
But yeah, it was interesting and it was neat. And some of them you see down at the bottom are really long names, like Red Shoed.
Yeah.
Afro wearing. I don't know.
It was really long.
Yeah.
And specific.
And it highlighted people that were on your friends list that maybe you weren't even playing with, but that were in a different match. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah. That part was fun.
And the stage, what was your opinion of this week's stage?
Oh, those bouncy things were horrible.
They are just as bad as in single player.
Yeah. Well, those like little blow up floaty raft like you'd have in the pool. You bounce off of them and good luck landing on solid ground.
I think we all had a lot of specialty Z deaths, as we call them, where we ended up in the drink or wherever you fall.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
You don't want to know.
You don't want to know. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, if it was a stage with a lot of open areas to fall off of, I would have had a bad time anyway.
Yeah.
What struck me was the most interesting thing is the first rotation had the new hotel stage in it, which I think is Albacore Hotel.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Very similar layout, I thought, between the special Splatfest stage and
hotel. I wasn't sure which was which. They were so very similar.
But I thought it was a nice touch by Nintendo to include this in the free trial, so if anyone was late getting a subscription or anything, they still had time to check it out.
If you just bought a Switch and Splatoon, and then you're like, oh crap, now I gotta pay for online too. This one's on the house.
Well, I imagine there's probably kids and stuff that were, have to get their parents to give them money for it or something, and it was nice that they'd done this within that same time frame.
Yeah. That was good planning on their part.
But overall, it's same old Splatfest, same old way, kind of. So.
And the colors were different. They're very muted. Normally they're neon bright ink colors. They weren't this time.
Yeah, the two teams were which style do you prefer, modern or retro? And the modern was kind of a
Gray.
Yeah, just a plain gray.
Light gray.
Yeah, and the retro was bronze.
Yeah.
Following in the tradition of the Pokemon Joy-Con colors. Like, let's just make everything boring.
Well, you'd get used to playing with those two colors, and then you would have a same team match, and the ink colors would be like pink and purple or something. And like, whoa!
Ah, where's my sunglasses?
Yeah, you thought your eyes were going to burn out from the brightness.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they did it, is for contrast. They figured if it's just every match is obnoxious bright colors, it loses its impact.
Could be.
That could be.
And all these stages are at night, and the shifty stations are kind of gray in general, so kind of dark gray and black, and so kind of fits in. But our team did win, so
Yep.
if you chose Team Modern, you chose well. All right. We'll go into talking about another topic which I don't think anyone but probably me has an interest in, and that is a new Pokemon was revealed over the weekend.
Ooh.
Nutboy.
Nutboy, as Mo likes to call him. I heard him as Nutto. So basically what happened, and it happened around the world this past weekend, was Community Day in Pokemon Go, which if you aren't familiar with that, basically for a 3-hour chunk of time, which is 2 to 5 local time, PM, you get one Pokemon is selected for each Community Day, and they spawn in greater numbers, and you have a chance of catching them as a shiny. So this was Chikorita Community Day, and immediately following the Community Day, a mysterious Pokemon started appearing. And it's a Pokemon that had been found in network traffic just recently by data miners. So we kind of knew what it was, and it started appearing for the half hour after the Splatfest everywhere, or not Splatfest, excuse me, after the Community Day. It was just everywhere. Every Pokestop you went to, there's this tiny little gray Pokemon with a big nut head. So, but after you caught it, it immediately turned into a Ditto. Kind of disappointing, but I'm sure if you've been online, you've probably seen pictures of what was his official name, Mo?
Nuthead.
Meltan, you know?
Meltan, I think.
So wait, is it just an alternate form Ditto or something? I don't understand.
No,
it's Pokemon number 808.
This is, I believe, will be the exclusive Pokemon for connecting Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu or Eevee with Pokemon Go. You know, the one they've been talking about, never before seen Pokemon. So, but when it appears in the wild and it has question marks over its CP and over its name, and then when you capture it, it just turns into Ditto.
So does
Somebody
this
was
mean it's
putting
a
together
mainline?
furniture?
Does this mean it's a mainline? This is a mainline Pokemon game, then, if they're announcing a new Pokemon in it?
Well,
what this means?
I guess that's what it kind of means.
That's BS, man.
It is a very...
I know you're not happy with that either.
No. Well, it was interesting, and it was fun to catch it. It was exciting, but then it's still odd.
That means Pokemon Go is a mainline Pokemon game.
Yeah, basically. And are you okay with that?
No.
Yeah.
I think it should include all the mainline Pokemon, but I don't know. That's a really good point. I don't know if that's an appropriate way to release new Pokemon. But technically, we haven't caught this thing. And it is sad to say that a new Pokemon would be connected with the Let's Go games even more.
Ugh.
But if you want to catch them all, you gotta buy them all.
I ain't buying it. Nagada.
But it is still appearing in the wild at a very low rate, apparently. I've seen one since Community Day. But if you want to check it out, you haven't played in a while, it's a good time to pick it up and look for one. All right. On that
Or look
note-
in your junk drawer at home and you'll find one.
Yeah, when we say nuthead, we
just
mean
might.
like nut and bolt.
Yeah.
If you were thinking this is a miniature Peanut Man from Planters Peanuts, it is not.
No, wrong kind of nuts.
That's right.
We'll leave it to your imagination what kind of nuts we're talking about.
Mhm.
So, talking about more disappointments in the video game world, we've got some news on Super Mario Party, and I know for me and Max especially, this is disappointing. We found out some restrictions on how this is going to be able to be played. I think we've talked about before that it would not support Pro controllers, but we also found out it will not be playable in handheld mode. It will not be playable with paired Joy-Con or using the Joy-Con grip. So basically, the only way to play this new Super Mario Party is with a single handheld Joy-Con.
On the TV.
Wait,
Or in tabletop mode.
Tabletop works, right?
yeah, as far as I know, tabletop was not listed as a restricted mode.
But yeah, that's.
What about people that don't have tables, man? They're screwed.
Well, think if you want to take it on the portable road with you, you're gonna have to get that little screen holder that they showed in the original Switch commercial. It goes in the back of the headrest. Or whatever.
Yeah, I've been waiting for that to come out. Or is that some kind of standard phone holder thing, tablet holder thing that I wasn't aware of already existed?
Probably.
But it is disappointing for people that want to play on the go, or people like me that mostly play in handheld. Not that I was planning to buy this game, but Nintendo is basically telling you, this is how you're going to play this game specifically. I think every time they do that, they did that with Star Fox Zero, and they're doing it again. I think that's just a big mistake.
And Mario Parties, I mean, it's kind of been in the dumps for years now.
Yeah, this isn't going to help it any.
No. It'll be forgotten like all the last however many Mario Parties. But whatever, we weren't going to buy it anyway. So.
We just
have another reason.
Yeah, it really doesn't make it playable on the go. I mean, thinking about, I know Barry talks about playing things like on a bus or in public transportation, things like that. Where are you going to put your Switch to be able to play in handheld mode? But this would be a perfect thing to play on a bus ride or on a train or on a commute.
You could share the joy with a stranger and get a Mario Party going.
Because you always want to hand expensive electronics to strangers.
Yeah.
On the bus.
On the bus.
Yeah, I mean, my hype level remains unchanged for this game.
Yeah. To me, the only good thing about this game is if you wanted another pair of Joy-Con and they were releasing it in the colors you wanted, that'd be the only reason to buy this game.
Yeah. But Z's going to have to buy it and another Switch so he can do the thing where you put the two screens together.
Oh, it'll be tempting.
And 2 copies of the game.
But you do need that, huh? There's probably not download play. Yeah. I will probably pick it up. I'm not as 100% as I normally am. We'll see, but it's it's the right time. I have a family event coming up in November, and it'll be a good one.
And if you pre-order it digitally, you can get twice the My Nintendo Gold coins.
Or if I pre-order it from Best Buy, I can still get my 20% off. Knock on wood. For as long as they still let me.
Is that more valuable than Play Coins, though? Or not Play Coins, than My Nintendo?
Is cash? Yes.
But it could save you, $3 extra off of the eShop. Isn't it?
Exactly.
Is it 300 coins?
Yeah, well, I don't know. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
For a $60 game, $60, man.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on that.
Yeah. I have been noticing, talking about the expensive games, there are several popular Switch games that are going on sale and things like that. So I'm hoping this will be a Merry Christmas for us all if we are hoping to pick up any games or something that we haven't. Like I know Odyssey's been on sale and
Splatoon 2.
Splatoon 2, yeah. Oh, and there was a great sale, I think it's worth mentioning, at Target this week in the US. Yeah, if you buy a Nintendo Switch at Target, you can get half price Labo kits.
Ooh.
Oh, interesting. They're really trying on that Labo, huh?
Yeah, I imagine the conversation is, and with your purchase today, you get a Labo kit 50% off. Nah, that's all right.
I think we all discussed if we were
Yeah.
buying another Switch, would we get the half price
No.
Labo even at half price? No, not a chance.
Let me know when they clear them out for $20, maybe.
Yeah.
Even then, I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see.
20 might be tempted.
I'm hoping they'll stay around to be like where the Amiibo, the Animal Crossing Amiibo, they went to like half price and then they went to like $3.
Yeah.
I'm hoping we can get them for like $5 or $10. I might buy them for $10 or less. I don't know.
It's just a box of cardboard. It's going to take up space.
That's
Wait,
true.
we're still talking about Labo, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll take up more space once you build it.
Yeah, I know. That's why I haven't built mine. I may never.
Yeah.
If you do the robot suit, I guess technically you could hang that in the closet.
No, that would take up right? That would take up the same space as probably 20 actual shirts or something.
This picture of people coming over to your house and you open your closet to get a jacket out or something. It's like, hey, what's that in the back? Oh, it's my
That
robot
big
suit.
cardboard box. Yeah. Really? Because it looks like a cardboard box. Nope, that's a robot suit, man. You just don't know.
And they're like, I gotta go, and they immediately leave your house.
Yeah, there's some weirdo with a cardboard robot suit, and I bet he has a tinfoil hat to go with it.
Exactly. It'd be great cosplay.
It would. There's your Halloween costume.
There you go. Very expensive Halloween costume.
Yeah.
Hope it doesn't rain.
Oh man.
Robot with an umbrella.
At least you could play a game with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, talking about weird things, this is something else that came up on Twitter just today, so breaking news. Fans have been contacting Phillips, the electronics company, and saying, we want a Philips CDI Classic Mini. And Phillips says, we'll try our best. So.
And Phillips says, now people care about the CDI.
Yeah.
It's like, we'll sell you full-size ones. We still got in a warehouse somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. We'll dig them back up out of the landfill and sell them to you. No problem.
I have a feeling the games that they would most want are probably the Nintendo titles, which probably would not appear on the console.
Yeah, there was, 3 Zelda titles and Hotel Mario?
Hotel Mario, yeah. What is Hotel Mario? I've never even heard of that.
They're all bad.
Yeah. I don't I mean, there's the curiosity of wanting to see these lost Nintendo licensed titles, but we know they're utterly frigging terrible. So it's really, it's like you just want to see them, but you don't really want to play them or anything.
This would be something you would tune into Twitch to watch somebody else play for 5 minutes, and it's like,
At
Yeah.
the height of
Yeah.
Mario, Phillips could not sell a system with a Mario game on it.
And a Zelda game, yeah.
Yeah.
I know me and Z were talking about it before the podcast. We both actually went to demo stations for the Philips CDI because we wanted to play the Zelda games or the Mario game. Nothing doing. They didn't have the cool games on there. It was all their educational software.
Yeah.
Yep.
But why would they want a Philips Mini?
What else was on there? Was there some great game that I'm not aware of?
I bet you it also had Night Trap. I don't know. I was surprised the 3DO had it.
Anything with a CD-ROM back then had it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Now the 3DO, was that also a Philips? That was like done by a lot of people, right?
Oh, I forget who.
The 3DO company, yeah, I think was like a collaborative effort between a few different tech companies or like, electronic type companies at the time.
I think LG was involved in it. Philips. Who was it that did the old Star Wars games?
Yeah, wasn't there some weird relationship between the 3DO and the CDI? Or am I crazy? I don't think they were direct competitors, were they? Was Philips involved in both?
Panasonic was, I think.
Oh, Panasonic was the major player in 3DO. You are correct.
It was Panasonic. Yeah.
And it was created by Trip Hawkins, the founder of EA.
EA, yeah, that's what I was trying to think of.
Yeah. And it says the original units were produced by Panasonic. Later versions were made by Gold Star, which became LG. And then the final ones were rolled out by Sanyo. Seems like anyone would manufacture it. But they considered themselves the 3DO company.
Interesting.
We'll get that many in a few years.
When everyone's forgot about it and no longer cares, you'll be able to buy it at someplace like Office Max or something.
I think that's now.
I can't see that ever really happening.
Yeah,
all I remember for that was Road Rash and Jurassic Park. Like those are the two, I think.
You actually played this?
I played the Jurassic Park one, I think. I thought there was like a first-person Jurassic Park type game, but I could be completely wrong.
You owned a 3DO? Or
No. I played it in the store displays.
See, I don't even remember seeing store displays. This was early 90s, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I know the CDI was 91.
3DO was 93.
Oh, wow. So
I didn't know they were that far apart.
if you're not familiar with these are some really interesting tidbits of gaming history you don't hear about a lot, though. If you're a Nintendo fan, you've probably heard of or seen pictures of the CDI Zelda.
Yeah.
But, definitely a different interpretation of Link. Than it reminds me of something that Mo made me watch back past Christmas time. And that was, you've got Star Wars, and then you've got the Star Wars Christmas special. That's kind of what this is like. You've got Zelda series, and then you've got Philips CDI Zelda.
Yeah, you've got the license in the hands of the wrong people. But there was some other mini news this week.
That's right. Actually, this news came out during the podcast last week while we were recording. And
we should have mentioned it then, but yeah, because I think it's so funny that that Sony. To me, it was just an excuse to rant more about Sony. That's why I wanted to bring it up tonight.
Yeah.
It's just, have they ever had a friggin' original idea in their lives? Like TVs, they didn't invent TVs. They didn't invent, portable tape players. And they definitely didn't invent the video game console. Like like every one of their ideas has been stolen. It seems like hey, they're making money doing that. We
They
should
do
get in
many
on
of
some of
them
that.
better. The problem is, I don't see
Yeah.
this as being as huge of a thing. One right out the bat. So the PlayStation Mini is $100.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
already kind of ouch territory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Whereas the
have
original Nintendo one they started with, at least with 60. The Super got up to 80, which was getting a little pricey.
taking a page out of Nintendo's book. I think they said it's going to have 20 games, but they're only willing to tell us about 5 of them right now. And this comes out in like 2 months.
Yeah.
I didn't know, but I did.
I don't know. It came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I don't know why. It seemed like they should have packed, for one thing, it seems like they should have packed it with one controller and dropped the price $20.
Yeah.
Right. The
Yeah.
original PlayStation came with one controller. So I don't know why they felt it necessary to pack in two. And I mean, maybe that was their excuse to charge more for it. I don't know, but it just, it seems like that price is a little too high. People are going to be nowhere near as nostalgic for that as they would be for the original Nintendo, Super Nintendo, or even Nintendo 64 to a degree.
Yeah.
I still think a mini Nintendo 64 would do better.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
So, and it just, I mean, it's like, even for Sony fans, it's got to look like, do they really, like, they're just desperate to make money off of any idea? Like, it just, I don't know. It just seems really shady. It seems, right? Doesn't seem, just seems like
It
an
seems
EA
weird.
kind of
Yeah.
move. It's like, oh, hey, I just like, it's right, after the PlayStation move and, trying to beat them at the handheld market and failing. And it's like the only thing they've ever been able to do is the home console. Like every other thing that they've tried to kind of steal Nintendo's business, they've gotten trounced. I don't know. It's just so cheap, and I'm still might buy one.
Just out of a curiosity, I took a quick look on eBay to see what original PlayStations were selling for, and it looks like they're going for around $50. I even saw one listed for $19.99, where it's just the console with a power cable.
Yeah,
They
I thought
were
50 sounded high.
they were everywhere, man. I would imagine. I mean, like the Chinese guy that I get all the old controllers and whatever stuff from, he's got stacks of them. I thought, because I had one back in the day, and it has since vanished on me, but I have a bunch of games for it. I have the controllers, I have memory card, like I have everything but the console itself. I even have like the power cables and stuff. I don't know what the hell happened to it, but it just crossed my mind to go pick one up just cause I'm weird and have that collector bug. If they're $20-$30, yeah, I might do it. That's still a lot cheaper than the mini.
You could probably buy the original console and get a handful of games that you want to play.
Yeah, versus
or even
yeah, totally. You could build your own library of maybe not quite as many games as they're going to give you, but close. I would bet $5 or $10 a pop for most of them. The disc-based games don't hold the value the same way as the cartridges.
And if the games they put on there are like the games that come with the online service, or like even the minis, these are games that you can get even cheaper than $5 because everybody had a copy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They give away a lot of these as part of you make a good point, as part of like PS Plus or whatever, all the old PlayStation classics and whatever, they give away a lot of them. So you're right. A lot of people will probably have gotten these as part of their subscriptions. I guess it's for people like, me, who might be attracted by the little mini PlayStation, which, as far as I understand, is only 40% smaller than an original PlayStation. That doesn't seem all that mini to me. Like, I don't know how mini the Genesis Mini is, but like the mini Nintendos are pretty damn mini.
They're handheld size.
Yeah, like they're small. I don't know what what the percentage yada yada scale is, but like that doesn't sound like it's. So you're saying it's about half the size? Not even. It's bigger than half the size. That seems like not all that many to me.
Yeah.
Like maybe you could throw. Can it throw GameCube discs in it? That'd be perfect.
Now I want a mini GameCube. That would be too cute to receive.
Yeah.
All right, dude.
Eventually you'll get it.
I really thought that the mini N64 was a no way, but now with the Sony doing this, and now knowing also that that these are capable with the if you hack them, the N64 or the NES and the Super NES minis are capable of running N64 games. The only thing missing is analog stick controls. Now all of a sudden, now that I've discovered that, now all of a sudden an N64 mini doesn't seem too unreasonable to me, whereas I said an absolute no way before. I wouldn't be. I don't think this Christmas, but I wouldn't be 100% surprised if they didn't drop one.
Next summer, maybe.
Yeah, maybe the beginning of the summer, maybe next Christmas. Wouldn't I don't put it out of the realm of possibility anymore now that I've been messing around with these. These are pretty powerful little boxes, these guys. Like they could use the same off the shelf hardware they've used for these. It seems like they just need to make a few adjustments again because these don't currently support analog sticks. I don't know how complicated that is, but I mean, you know what I mean? The power is in these things. The power is there to run the N64 emulators. Like I've fired up Mario Kart and Mario 64 on them. It runs great. It just when Mario runs and only runs and can't walk, that becomes a problem very quickly. And steering in Mario Kart when you can't, right? When you're either all hard steering or not at all, like that's all that stuff really becomes a problem with that analog control. But if they could pull that, obviously that's seems like a relatively minor hurdle to get over. So otherwise, right, they could use the same off-the-shelf hardware, or at least the same boards. They just make a new little N64 model, and bam, out the door. They could even use the same stupid Wii plugs on it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Interesting thought. Seems like it's definitely would be something easy for them to do. Maybe we'll get that.
An easy way to just get people to hand you money.
Yeah, exactly.
Nintendo has some sort of allergy to those things. You know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is talking about just handing Nintendo money. I just realized that I was looking at Nintendo's site earlier, there's been some Amiibo came out recently. Has anyone seen any newer Amiibo on the shelves?
No.
Mm-mm.
Like the Marina and
No.
Pearl Amiibo, I just realized I've never seen those in store anywhere. Not that I've went out of my way to hunt them down, but
Yeah, I'm looking.
I
I
found
admit-
them.
Did you?
I thought-
Well, I'm sorry. What'd you say, Max?
I thought Marina and Pearl clip bought them.
Oh, you did find, but you found them in the wild. I just had pre-ordered them, and so I got them, but I haven't seen them when I look at the store.
cool. I'm glad someone found them. I just wondered if they were in existence at all.
They're in my diorama alongside the real original,
Squid Sisters.
Squid Sisters. I just think of them as the fake Squid Sisters.
Yeah, I don't have the nostalgia for them, or they aren't as iconic. I don't think as the Squid Sisters were.
I still don't see why it was necessary to swap them out.
Yeah, I don't either.
I mean, I'm all for diversity and whatever, but I can't imagine that was the primary reason that they said, "Oh, they're both white." I don't think that was the reason they did it. I can't imagine that was the reason they did it.
No.
But it just irks me that they could have kept some continuity. I feel like the reason they did it was just to make I feel like there were a lot of arbitrary changes made like that to make it feel more like a new game.
Yeah. Speaking of things that needed updating, I wanted to mention this. Nintendo has made a step in the right direction with letting us add people to fill our squads. But why in the world can we not skip those news stories that come up? I've had to sit through at least 2 of them, or 3, I guess, just in playing the Splatfest.
Yeah, that would have been the update everyone would have loved.
Why? Why not do that?
Yeah.
They'll never do it. Never. People didn't ask for it since day one.
Maybe in Splatoon 3. Maybe.
That'll be on the next console.
Yep.
The Super Switch XL Lite.
Yeah. New.
Yeah, the new Super Switch.
All right. Well, I've got one final topic for tonight, and that was someone had a birthday this week, and it was none other than Nintendo. They turned 129. So I just wanted to know if anyone had any birthday wishes they wanted to send to Nintendo.
I wish they would make more stuff that I want.
Yeah.
That's my birthday wish for Nintendo.
They should celebrate it with F-Zero and Pikmin 4.
Yes. There you go. Celebrate it with an F-Zero and a Steel Diver and a sudden announcement that Metroid Prime 4's release date has been moved up to Christmas.
And get rid of the Switch tax.
It seems to be gradually going away. Somebody mentioned that last week.
And in 20 years, we'll have a big 150th celebration. 21 years.
Wow.
Well,
How many years will that be of Mario?
A lot.
By then, we'll be like, it'll be
the 50th of Mario, at least.
50-something, yeah.
But
right, are we already on 35 years of Mario? So in 20 years, that'd be 55 years. Sorry, go ahead, Jason.
I was going to say, by then, Mario will be sitting on the couch with you when you play.
Yeah. They should do that. They should make like an old man Mario game that just he moves really slow. He doesn't jump very high.
He's just to like sweep you off his lawn.
Yeah. Oh, it would basically be like a reboot of DuckTales.
Oh.
Right? He'd be carrying a cane that he can bounce on. It'd be like Cranky Kong. Yeah, he can have a long beard. I think they should do. He'd look like Santa Claus, right? Mario basically. Oh, he wears red. If Mario grows out an old gray beard, he'd look like Santa Claus.
He would.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Luigi's green. Luigi's his elf.
There you go.
This is a Peach. Card. Peach is Mrs. Claus.
Bowser could be the Grinch.
Yeah. Toad is all the Toads. Yeah, I mean, not only are all the Toads various, iterations of Donald Trump's penis, they're also the elves. Right? You see? There is a weird Japanese obsession with Santa Claus. I think that may have been where Mario came from. Like, if you look at it, they were kind of channeling Santa Claus when they made the 8-bit Mario originally.
Yeah, I guess.
I've gone too far with this.
It's a weird theory, man. Aliens.
Okay.
It's getting pretty.
Tinfoil hat, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I got a Santa Mario theme for the 3DS. Maybe I'm thinking about that.
Oh.
It could be.
All right. Well, before we get any deeper into wherever we're going, we're going to call it a night here. So, as always, thank you for tuning in and listening to us. And as always, reach out to us. Let us know your experience with Nintendo Switch Online. Have you enjoyed it? Have you not enjoyed it? Glad to hear from you. And as always, you can check us out on Twitter at NOA_podcast, right here on YouTube where we record, and on Stitcher and iTunes. So thanks for listening and have a good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Party on, folks.